if someone's got low confidence or low self-esteem, to see an article of theirs in the magazine, it boosts you up.
I always think about the town crier, with the bugle announcing. There's an element of announcing, proclaiming, if you like, to the wider audience.
I like very much the idea of meeting people who like writing, who are inspirational, encouraging and helpful.
It lets me speak on behalf of the silent minority. It also lets me hope that the silent minority, reading our words and knowing they may have met us already on the streets, can think, if they can do it, why not me?
I have on one occasion been homeless, you know. I've actually put myself in the gutter, as it were, you know, in life, you know, through my, I used to get into some erroneous habits, like smoking, drinking, gambling and things like that, you know, and really, I really became addicted to certain things, and they had really ruined me, totally, you know, so much so that I stayed in a night shelter, you know, and I was literally homeless. I like very much the idea of meeting people who myself about writing. They have encouraged me to continue in my writing. I'm almost doing it as a job nowadays, really.
There wasn't anywhere else to go, and I didn't feel safe wandering in the streets being a female, you know, it felt quite vulnerable. So I thought it might be best if I took shelter in the Waverley station. I thought that felt the safest place to be among other people in a crowd, rather than being on my own in the streets, walking in the streets, where I could have been really vulnerable. I felt isolated and lonely. I felt that I lost all hope. The hope had gone out of my life.
At some point during the session, yeah, great.
After the first 8 years of my life, I never had any inkling of what a home should be, because up to 8 I lived with my father and his family, and it was perfect. I was Catholic, went to church, went to Catholic school, had friends, I never ever remember family discord. Then my mother turned up and we moved into family accommodation, and it went downhill. And we might still have been there if she hadn't made the mistake of hitting me in front of my father. Then they had a right battle, and I got sent to do the message that caused the fight. And when I came back, my dad had gone and my mother was packing us up to head off to her family. And if it had been bad before, it got a whole lot worse. There was nobody she needed to hide her beatings from. So I was made a ward of court and put into children's care. Children's care back then was, just go and sit over there, we'll get to you in a while. And I learned to wait. I reached 18 and dumped back on my mother, and I couldn't stay with her that long, because now I was old enough to know I don't have to let her beat me. I'd reached crisis point a few times, because by then I'd be, 17, 18, 19, 20. And the whole life plan seemed to be, my folks live a long time, my grandparents are still alive, so I've got 50, 60, 70 years of this, and what is it for me? Nothing. I'm a yo-yo, and nothing to call my own apart from the clothes I stand up in and a change if I remember to hold on to them. I might as well be dead. There were 3 options: live, die, or go to jail. And I wasn't honest. But I saw jail as an alternative to suicide. But it's a form of suicide because you are no longer in charge of your life. You're at the beck and call of anyone who says, you will do this. It's a small death.
I feel like the Bugle is like a voice for the community, and it enables people, particularly shy, withdrawn people. I'm actually quite shy too, believe it or not. But it gives them this opportunity to submit artwork, or just to give their opinion on things, or just to see, just to meet like-minded people, if you like. You don't necessarily have to go to homelessness yourself, but it does help because obviously it was set up. People with experience of homelessness.
Sure. Has it not been justified?
Yes, it has, but they were capital, it's more like.
Mostly I like coming here because of the environment and just writing. Didn't have any certificates at school for it. I think that's a good thing to have other people to feed off and maybe help you to sort of edit it, curtail it, lengthen it, spot my spelling mistake. I think it's been good for me. I'm very, very seldom depressed now because I've got this and I've got other outlets, and if you don't have a hobby or an outlet, it's like climbing the north face of the Eiger, that's what the mantelpiece tends to feel like at times. When my mum and dad died in 2003, with the second funeral of my dad, who died 3 days after Christmas that year, I had my housing association like that. I'm a ground floor flat, got a huge garden that slopes down to the street. And my sister knew that I was reluctant to do this. I was reluctant to sign the tenancy agreement because of the upkeep of the garden. But I had to, otherwise I would in effect be voluntarily making myself homeless. And if I went to any housing association or the council, it would certainly not have earned me any brownie points. No one should be put under that kind of duress to sign a piece of paper whereby if they don't sign it, they're voluntarily making themselves homeless.
It's like the voice in the wilderness, and the Bugle gives you the chance to have that voice heard. 20 copies go out, and say 4 people get helped by those copies. That's 4 people. I might not meet them, but what matters is it's good to know what I'm saying is helping them. It's people's choice, but for those that do read it, they might see what I'm saying here. It's like everyone's supporting everyone. It's like the 3 Musketeers, one for all for one. And nobody puts anyone down, no one's finding fault with anyone, no one's basically being negative. Everyone's just easygoing, you can laugh, joke, and you know you've always got somebody there to help you if you get stuck.
This is my 3rd term of sobriety, and I was sober twice for 3 years before, and it's my anniversary, the 1st of July. I'll be 10 years sober. I was hospitalised 3 times. I was sectioned. I got ECT about 4 different hospitals. Like being in a void, a vacuum. You know, I actually blew 5 credit cards. I'll still be paying one back till I'm 72, paying £25 every month. I got sacked for babying. I came back and I got a job as a barman. I was there for a year. I didn't get dry. The wedding reception, I used to down 3 bottles of Bollinger one night. I climbed Arthur's seat. I said, how did I manage that? You know? I just didn't care. I haven't got a telly. I love silence. And just switch off at night. And I lose myself in creativity for maybe 4 hours. That's a great thing. Me being sober, single, can please myself. Every part of my walls is covered with paintings, you know. I haven't decorated it in 10 years. It's all covered in paintings. It gives me great pleasure to give everybody pleasure. I believe everybody's got a God-given creative gift.
It could happen to anybody. If you end up in a position where you're made redundant, everybody is 2 paychecks away from being homeless in this country. If you're in a relationship and it suddenly goes bad, you can end up in a worse position. It can happen to anybody.